Welcome to episode 4. We have two special guests today. The first is Vince, an American out of the city of Chicago. 15 years of grappling. He tells his story as he's grappled around the world and the past 4 years here in Vietnam. Apparently, he's become some sort of a leg lock legend here, but we'll see if that's actually true. And our second guest, originally from Hawaii, Woong, shares how his combat sports odyssey has taken him from collegiate wrestling in the United States to amateur MMA in Korea, and now has led him to the vibrant no-gi scene of Saigon. Hear his first impressions of Ho Chi Minh City and the dynamic grappling scene in Vietnam. That's where I met Vince at Plus Shop.
Yeah, and I was like, I've seen this guy on the internet before.
Yeah, that guy has a successful podcast.
And that was before the podcast days, back in those days.
What's your name? All right, we've got who else do we have today?
We have the legendary.
We got Canarius.
No, we have the legendary Vince here with us today, who might be, some describe as the best leg locker in Vietnam.
That's
Who is describing him like that?
Yeah. I just remember, so I also, when I used to travel, I would just go out a lot. And I'd be like, well, let's meeting people, you know.
Yeah.
I don't remember everything as well as I should have, but you know, it's one way to meet people. And I just remember, like, so it was like one of my first nights. I get to Zagreb in Croatia, and I go out, and I'm just walking the streets, and I see I'm walking past this bar, and like, you know, the most beautiful woman walks out of this bar, you know, like, you know, dark hair, you know, heels, everything, just walks out of some bar, right? I'm like, oh wow, what's going on here? And she's like, you know, I was like, how was that? Oh yeah, it's quite alright. It's quite alright. I go in there. I'm in there for like 20 seconds, and I come out of there like coughing, because at least at this time, I don't know if is this still the case that you can smoke inside all of these places.
So we've been training at Arcane for the last 3 days. You came for the first day today, but you've trained at Arcane before.
I've been to Arcane a few times. So like that guy there, Patricio Pato. I met him like I guess around summer 2022, and you know, I guess he started this school
6 months ago, he says.
Yeah.
He said August 2023.
Yeah.
Okay.
So about 6 months ago. But yeah, I've trained with him like a couple of times, and you know, it's funny, when he first came, I just thought of him as like, you know, a gi dude, like lapel guard gi dude, and now, you know, he's catching the market. So this is something a lot of people notice here, is that there's much more no-gi here. Mm-hmm. This was something that actually surprised me about you when you came down, and I had the perception that you were like from Korea.
Yeah.
And that was like all the training you did when you came down here, and you were like good at no-gi. So this is something that surprises me with a lot of Koreans. But I know I've been to Seoul like a million years ago, like 2018.
That's like
and I went to, this was a while ago, man. 2018, I go to Wire, or one of those Wire locations, and man, those guys were fucking good in gi.
Yeah, they're good in gi.
And you see them, and there's just so, you go to Korea and they're so technical with that. But yeah, you'd have like some guys, you'd roll with some guys, and they'd be like, you know, brown, black, and they would not know what they're doing in no-gi. And then, you know, occasionally we've run in like a few guys who are actually like good at it in Korea. But we'll talk about the Korean scene later. Right?
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of no-gi here. You know, just makes sense, I guess.
Vince, how long have you been in Saigon?
I've been here 4 years. I
That's
always
long.
always say like when I moved here, it was kind of an accident, and it was January 2020. I always say, like, first week here, my mom sends me an email about some Wuhan thing. I'm like, nah, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I can't believe
So
COVID
that was
that long.
is that the first time you were in Vietnam?
No. So I'd been to Vietnam 2 other times before. I came in 2012 for like a couple of nights in Hanoi. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anybody there. I didn't like it.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was in March. Hanoi's kind of gray. So yeah, you can imagine like 2012. You don't know anybody. You don't know what's going on. It's Hanoi. I just was there like just to say I was there. I got like a Uncle Ho Chi Minh T-shirt, and that was about it, right?
Got the camera.
Yeah, and I got a picture in front of the Hilton. Good man, it was goofy.
Did you get a picture at the mausoleum?
I think so. I gotta go look through like my Dropbox on that one. So yeah, I didn't like it that much. I was like, it's whack. Since then, I've been up to Hanoi again with Vietnamese, and I know more about the cuisine. I know where to go for training up there, so it's actually like pretty good now. I like Hanoi.
Where do you go train in Hanoi?
I've been to a couple of places. So I've been I think the first time I trained in Hanoi was at Ronin. Now I don't know how feasible it is for foreigners to go to Ronin. Like I remember, like one guy I know, he's ethnically Chinese, dude in New York. He came out there and they were like, "No, you can't come. It's no foreigners." And then like another guy came out there to Ronin, and he's like half Chinese, half Japanese. And I think they told him, just don't say anything. Just shut up and come with us. And he was able to get in there.
Just blend in the back.
Yeah, just shut up. Like,
did they tell you the same?
Well, I can't. So apparently they changed locations to like something near like a military base or something. So that was like part of the reason foreigners couldn't come there anymore, or why it was difficult. I don't know if this is still the case. So that would be interesting to find out. For people who are still in that scene.
When we send you up there,
So
you just be quiet and we'll see.
Just shut up. Yeah, just shut up.
Well, the lady thought I was Vietnamese. You remember when you were buying the beers?
Yeah.
She kept talking to me instead of him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He was the one replying.
Yeah.
These are the struggles of learning an Asian language as a white person.
Yeah.
You have a chance.
Yeah.
Have a chance to get in there.
There's.
I kept pointing to you. I was like,
Yeah, I can buy the beer, but I can't get into it.
well, beer is easy. It's beer.
Yeah.
BIA.
That's the exclusive gyms. Yeah.
I feel like if you're Asian, it's a bit harder. Well, there's a bit more pressure on you because they're gonna expect you know more.
Yeah.
Number one, they expect you to know language, and they'll just keep on talking to you in Vietnamese for a while, even though like I'll be the one responding. And then if you do something stupid, one of us does something stupid, they're like, okay, dumbass foreigner, whatever. And then, but for you, they'll be like, oh, you should know better.
Yeah, they'll look at me. Yeah.
Yeah, like if we like just stab our bowl of pho with some chopsticks and just like have them like that, they're like, oh, okay, dumbass foreigner. But for you, they'd be like. You saw me do this all the time, like my over-under pass. And I just, for years, and probably still to this day, but for years that was my only guard pass, was over-under.
It's pretty good.
So I know how to put pressure on people with that. Like, even if they're bigger than me, I even like it if they're bigger than me, because they won't think that I'm going to smash. But I'm going to smash. I'm going to go in and like my... Yeah.
I got you. Oh, let me drink this one.
Like, I'm gonna finish that, but let me get another beer. But yeah, like people think if you know how to use, you do it all the time. Your brain starts to starts to adapt to it, and you can just put a lot more pressure with that technique, even if you're smaller than the other person.
Yeah.
So I think I can put a lot of pressure with over under. So that would be like an example of a technique where I can. Essentially, it feels like I'm muscling. It'll feel like I'm muscling into it. But for example, if I do it on the other side, it's shit. But I have it on that one side.
That's a very popular class, the over under. I don't see anyone doing that.
No,
Actually.
that's a weird thing to me. Is like people don't do it, and because people don't do it that much anymore. People are bad at defending it. But it's we know that like somebody like Bernardo Faria was able to just like
you can grab that pants.
They can but people still are shit at it at
And
defending
he's
it.
good at the dog bar,
Yeah.
Fucks people's knees up.
Yeah, so dog bar has been ever since I started. I barely compete, but when I started competing, those 2 times I competed recently.
Twice?
What? No, like since the pandemic, I only competed twice, and I did that dog bar, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is so fucking nice." And yeah, that deals with some of the issue of like getting that good grip. But I feel like I have a fairly good grip with my over under, and I think it's exaggerated at the extent people say like, "Oh, you don't have that grip." I mean, for everything in no gi, you don't have that grip. If you think of like a good gi player doing like a knee cut, he already has this huge advantage over the no gi player, where the good player in gi can do like that sort of like that Leandro Low like base crank thing. He doesn't need an underhook at all. Mm-hmm. So the grip options are just so much better in gi. Like if you go for that cross face in half guard, you can super crank the hell out of somebody's neck in gi.
You're losing Zach on the gi stuff.
Yeah.
I've done it before, guys.
He has. I see Zach focusing. He's like, I see.
But
before we get into the gi, I'd like to hear Vince's story about when he started grappling. When did you start grappling? Why did you start?
Like when I was in university, make it very international, call it university. I did a little, like there were some dudes who were just sort of playing around. I did a little bit then, but nothing really. And then I got into it properly when in my late 20s, where I got to the point where, so like my earlier 20s, I was poor and then I was busy because I was doing grad school. And then when I had a job and I was no longer doing grad school and I had insurance, then I said, oh, okay, maybe this is a good time to do jiu-jitsu. But
when you got the insurance.
So are you recommending?
So you started pretty late then.
I started when I was like 20.
And before that, there's no other exercise or.
I never did any sports. I was just
That's
like
crazy.
a computer nerd. So
What you went to grad school for?
computer science.
So you work in tech?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Just part time.
What? Do I work in tech?
Like part time computer nerd.
Uh,
Leg locker.
I don't know. I guess you could say that. I've been like, pretty full on tech in that area, tech and finance. But when I started jiu-jitsu, and for most of the time I did it, I wasn't very diligent. I would only go like, 2 or 3 days a week. I got exposure to a lot of things and I got to see a lot of trends, but I wasn't. It's funny thinking like how good I would have been. Number one, if when I was in university, if I would have done some of this stuff, or at least done judo or something, and then thinking if I trained as much as I do now when I was in my 20s, like how good I would be by now. It's kind of a shame, right? But
Well, that's what I'm doing now.
I
I got 1 month left. Make the most of
but
it.
like thinking about it, like I never thought, when I was in my 20s, I was thinking like no way I could do 7 days. That's crazy talk. And then now I can do like multiple sessions a day, 7 days a week. I don't do that all the time, but it's possible I could do that.
But I feel like there is a way to improve fast nowadays. Like back then, there wasn't a lot of information sharing.
Mm.
I feel like now, if you take a month's rest, you're fucked. Like the game is moving so fast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but like back then, if you took a month's rest, you're not as fucked.
Yeah, I mean, you could still basically do the same things from like 10 years before. And
now you don't even need to learn from your instructor. Like there's instructionals all online, yeah. And whatever you want to learn, you can just like learn it, and then you can study it, and you can try it in sparring, and you can just improve your game really fast.
Also I think the pedagogy has changed. The way people are teaching jiu-jitsu has changed. Along with like the instructionals. Now it's a question of, with all the instructionals available, now there's a question of, okay, well, what value add does an instructor give you? So I think that's kind of a positive thing.
I think the instructor gives the value of what the instructor is good at. Like let's say like your instructor is really good at half guard, but you're not that good at half guard. But you know the instructor is not good at other things, and the other things you can watch instructionals. But the half guard shit you can
all come from
exactly.
But also the professor is like curating the room. So based on who the instructor is, if they have a room full of killers, you're surrounded by good training partners.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's half of it.
I mean, well, that's a big element. Like, really, I think if you have like an instructor who's not actually that good at teaching, but just is like very good, then they attract a lot of other talent, and then you just sort of get better by osmosis. But I think the one of the big value adds of a good instructor, just in my opinion, I don't know for other people, is just telling you shit that's dangerous. Where a lot of people don't let you know that, or there'll be like little things where they'll tell you something that they don't explain very well in instructional. So, and a good example of this would be, say, the danger to your LCL, which I wish more instructors would tell their students. Number one, every jiu-jitsu student should know like the ligaments of their knee and know something about their own body. And then like the idea that your knee can sort of just like go like bend in like that, or that sometimes you are supporting people basically on one ligament of your knee. It'd be nice if instructors would tell you that. So the big examples of that would be like Gordon Ryan blowing his LCL, going for that Kani Basani. What is it? That guy from Atos who blew his knee out going for a Matrix. I've popped my LCL, not like completely torn it, but I've popped my LCL twice going for like that sort of old school lasso guard sweep, where there's a lot of
mine with a lasso guard sweep too. Yeah. I pulled to the left and popped it.
Yeah, and so these are things like they're not going to tell you these in instructionals.
Lachlan does though.
Yeah.
Lachlan does right away. He's like, you got to make sure your knee goes up and down. Yeah. And he brings like this knee structure. I swear to God, he's like, the knee moves like this.
Yeah. So those are useful. Those things about the knees I think are like pretty useful. Or an instructor telling you like, oh yeah, well if you're going against like a lower belt and he taps you, maybe that's a little embarrassing. But if he like, you're going against a lower belt and he breaks you, that's much more embarrassing. If he chokes you unconscious, that's pretty embarrassing too. And by the way, sometimes if you get choked unconscious, you can piss yourself. That would be probably like good information. To know.
Have you been choked unconscious in practice?
I've been choked unconscious a few times, stupidly. Oh, here's another one. The stupid thing they say, there's these dumb things people will say, but they don't qualify their statement. So they'll say like, don't tap to pressure. It was the dumbest thing people ever said. Or one of the dumb things people say in jiu-jitsu is don't tap to pressure. So somebody gets a side mount on you and they don't tell you, a lot of times it takes a while for an instructor to tell you this, but if they have a side mount on you, they can choke you with it. Like, and it's not about being tough. You're going to go to sleep. And very few people will tell you this, that, oh yeah, you can put people to sleep with this move. And I've been put to sleep with it twice. The first time I thought was just kind of a fluke. And then it happened to me again, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a real thing. Or I've been caught by like that move, and then the baseball choke thing, the sacrifice baseball choke. I've been caught by that and fell asleep. Where you get caught in this baseball choke. By the way, this can happen to you in no-gi. Unlikely, but some guys will do this. You ever see that video, like the one-trick pony?
That's when you shoot for armbar.
Yeah. You should like blast that armbar.
Yeah, once they do that, I shoot for armbar.
Yeah, but they catch you like this, and you're like, oh, I'm passing. And then you pass your guard, and then you're still in this position. Then you're like, oh, I'm getting mount, and then they're still spinning, and then you're like, oh, I'm getting back. You're out. Hopefully you didn't piss yourself that time. So
It's the ones where you feel like you're continuing to progress.
I hate that.
I'm getting advantage. And I'm waking up and someone is shaking my legs.
I hate that.
Yeah. So don't get choked out in practice. That's not a good idea. Then you are going to be really embarrassed. Like if somebody you think is not your level chokes you, you can just sort of laugh it off, but you can't laugh off getting like choked unconscious. You'd be like, oh, I was just giving it to him, but you can't like wake up like,
You can play dead.
what are you guys doing in my bedroom? You can't do that. You can't play that. You can't play that off. So don't get choked. Don't get popped in practice.
That's not good.
Yeah.
What about you, Ron? You ever been choked out in the training room?
Yeah, I've been choked out twice, I think. One time was in Ukraine because the instructor, or not the instructor, he's like a side instructor, but he's a black belt from Chechnya. And we were wrestling. I kind of pissed him off. And so he got me in like a north-south choke. And I was tapping, and he wasn't letting go. And I fell asleep. But I fell asleep, but he let go as I fell asleep. So like literally half a second later, I woke up. And I didn't know what was going on. I was like, oh, I'm doing jiu-jitsu. And I started like rolling again. And he just like passed my guard and was smashing me. And then everybody was like breaking it up. Yeah. And then I was like, what happened? He's like, yeah, you went to sleep. And I was like, I don't feel too good actually.
I've had somebody do that to me. Like I was doing I was kind of in like a deep half.
Opti. That's his name, Opti. Thanks for choking me out.
I was doing a deep half on a guy. And he goes for like a cross choke, which, for most people you can kind of ignore these cross chokes, but not for him apparently. And I'm just sort of ignoring it, and then I'm like, he wakes me up by doing this, by shaking me like, what? Yeah, he went to sleep for a minute. All right, let's just pretend that didn't happen.
He keeps the grips.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing jiu-jitsu?
2018, so I would say like, what is it, 2023?
24 now.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It's been 2024 for more than a month now.
Wait, let me see. 21, 22, 23, but it has 2024 hasn't ended yet, right? So 6 years. So 6 years, and then like a couple years of wrestling too. Like I would say almost 10 years of grappling.
You did wrestling before?
Yeah, I wrestled in high school and then like a little in college.
Oh, really?
So in college I wrestled in Oregon. I wasn't too serious with the wrestling in college, but I should have been though.
You wrestled in Oregon.
Yeah.
Ah, very good.
Now I regret like not going harder in the wrestling room, because I was just thinking like when I was wrestling, oh, these guys are way better than me. I'm never gonna get at this level, and so I'll just come to practice every day and just like get beat up.
You're there.
Yeah, I'm just there. Yeah.
Was it a D1 school or D2 school?
No, it was NAIA, so it's like Southern Oregon University. Yeah.
Okay.
So like, even those guys were just destroying me though. But we had a couple guys come out of there that fought in the UFC and stuff. Rick Story? Yeah, he beat Johnny Hendricks back in the day.
Are guys coming out of that school and trying to go D1 after? Like after a
No,
year?
they like being in that NAI circuit.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we had a guy named Austin. He fought in Bellator. Married to Paige Van Zandt.
Okay.
But he hasn't fought for like, I don't know. He hasn't fought ever since his title shot loss. Yeah, to Musasi, I think. Yeah, and then we had some guys that came out of that wrestling room that like competed MMA and high level, so it's pretty good.
Very good. So you've been here for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, 3 or 4 days. Yeah.
And first time in Vietnam. Your first introduction to the Saigon grappling scene.
Yeah.
What do you think so far?
I like it. It's just I've only been to one gym. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I haven't explored any other gyms, but so far I like Pablo's level. That's pretty high level.
Man, Pablo's.
Pablo.
Of course.
Only if my shoulder wasn't like, maybe I could like do other shit. But right now I can't even wrestle, so that's the problem. So like when he was like passing my guard, I'm like, okay, now what do I do?
So wait, what motivated you to want to come this weekend to, like, of all times?
So I had a friend tell me to come to check out the Vietnam scene. and he said that the economic boom right now in Vietnam is, I guess it's going to be one of the top growing countries, and so that's kind of the reason. I just wanted to see how life is here, and life is pretty good, I think. Yeah.
I highly encourage you to come back some other times to.
When things are open, yeah.
Yeah,
Not
when
during
things are
Lunar New
open.
Year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to check out Team Shark though, because they're like Korean. Yeah, it's a Korean team. So.
Yeah, Shark. That would be fun having you come out there. Get to roll with
Raphael.
Chris, Raphael, Jovidan, all those guys. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'd love to check it out. And how's the MMA scene here?
Well, MMA has only been allowed here for, I guess they've had 2 years of line championship, which is the Vietnam's first promotion.
Okay. I should try to get a fight in that organization, huh?
Yeah, I think you might need a long-term visa.
Okay.
Oh wait,
I can just come for a fight.
they've had like that one that they do in Ho Chi Minh.
That is
They-
AFC.
Yeah, but they're in Vietnam, and you'd see like they bring these Korean dudes down there like all the time.
Woong has actually fought in the AFC on the B side. In
The
Korea.
beginning.
In Korea.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Beginnings.
AFC is the
Mm.
I think it's the second promotion to put on events here. It's the first international promotion, and they're fighting out of a casino on the coast.
Okay, so that's why that was allowed for a longer time.
Yeah. So this came I think after Lion.
Oh,
They've
okay.
been putting on events. I went to the first one.
Mhm.
Pretty much just for 1 year. They had these AFC events, and it's awesome. The caliber is high. The presentation of the show, everything is quite nice. And they have some good Korean guys. Like a lot of guys are coming out of the Korean Zombies gym. They're fighting in that promotion. They come here. They've bring guys in from the Philippines, Central Asia.
Yeah, the zombie gym, they love to compete in AFC. Because 2 guys I fought in AFC were zombie guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. The impression I get here is that well, I don't know. Maybe you would say this is the case too. That there's the skill level has to be balanced out a bit more here, where you'll have guys who are like very good boxers, for example, or very good at Muay Thai, but they won't have the grappling, or the other way around.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of development that could happen here, and then you have also a lot of foreigners fighting here. So
It's an interesting time.
yeah.
But it's kind of amazing because in one and in UFC, you're moving away from these style specific athletes. Everyone is mixing everything so well now. Whereas here, you still get the striker versus grappler matchup. You get the boxer versus.
It is interesting.
Like,
Yeah.
this is doesn't exist.
It's like
at
the
high
UFC
school
in
anymore.
1990s.
Yeah.
So,
1990s without the one glove man.
Yeah. And you've had how many fights?
5.
Oh, 5 fights.
And when did you start doing the MMA?
I think a year and a half. Yeah, it hasn't been that long.
Can you talk a little bit about the AFC rule set on the B side or on the?
Yeah, I think it's I think for AFC it's 2 rounds of 3 minutes. Yeah. Oh yeah. So my second fight, I was with my coach. He got drunk like the night before, and so I didn't know this, but he came he met me hungover, and we drove to the AFC organization place, and then I think I was like the 11th fight or something, but they had what is that called? Like an inter session?
Intermission?
Like an intermission, yeah.
Intermission time for lunch and stuff. And so I came, my fight was, I thought I was gonna fight, but then they had the intermission time, and then I was the first fight after intermission time. And so I don't really like to eat before my fight or anything. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna eat lunch or anything. So we were just chilling out in this car talking, and I didn't even know the intermission time passed. I wasn't even warming up.
Is this your first fight ever?
No, third fight.
Third fight.
Yeah, so I wasn't even warming up. So I come back to the gym. I was thinking maybe they're still preparing things. Yeah, but they're calling my name and they're like, yeah. And then one of the guys I've already fought before, he's like, yeah, you gotta go in there now. He's even telling me to go. And I was like, okay. I went in, I smoked the guy, dude.
So
Yeah.
what's like a
I didn't even
gener-
warm up. Yeah, it was.
Like, was that a knockout or what?
I can't knock anyone out. Not yet. Like my striking is so bad.
What?
I just took him down and then like started just doing my jiu-jitsu game. Yeah, I think I armbarred him.
Submission?
Yeah.
So is it mostly submission, ground and pound?
Yeah, that's all I can do.
Oh, okay.
yeah. Yeah.
But in this, like on the B side in this promotion, you're using like a boxing glove.
Yeah, boxing glove. Yeah, boxing glove, and then you have shin protectors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
So I
boxing
guess-
gloves.
Yeah, boxing gloves. You can still grapple with them. It's like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're like what, like
16
12 ounce or?
I think 12 ounce. 12. Yeah, I think 12.
So you can still sort of grapple on the ground and all
Yeah,
that.
you can
But
still punch them in
Oh,
the
okay.
face.
All right. But you don't have the use of your
You can
fingers.
kind of grab. Yeah, it's just hard to do the rear naked choke because the
Ah.
glove is so fat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like wearing the training Muay Thai, I think, oh, you can't use the glove, but then my coach Lucas is like, somehow he has full dexterity in both of his hands with the 16-ounce glove on.
Mhm. What are the backgrounds of some of the? So you said some of these were at the Korean Zombies gym.
Both of those guys were in the AFC beginners. Both of those guys that I fought were from the Korean Zombie gym.
And so what would be like their strengths? I guess.
I think it's
Like-
just striking. Yeah, their
Mostly
grappling is so bad. Yeah.
I see. Oh yeah, I was curious about like the whole like no gi scene in Korea. Like my impression before was that like there was very little of it, and most of that was associated with MMA.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Oh
that-
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like almost non-existent. I guess it's growing now because there's like multiple 10th planets right now.
They're multiple now.
Yeah, there's one in Suwon that's like near Seoul. There's another one in Gwangju. It's near Seoul also.
Mhm.
There's one in Seoul, and then there's one in Seongnam, which is the main one.
Mhm.
And then there's one further down south in Daegu. So
Mhm.
there's like 5-10 planets in Korea right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And I think there's only one official one, which is the one in Seongnam. Yeah.
one official one.
Yeah, because if you look on the 10th planet website, there's only one listed in Korea.
Ah.
You know?
And did those guys who started these other gyms, did they train with the main branch, or did they
Yeah,
just...
they all train at the main one.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so these aren't just like random like dudes who train at like some random 10th planet in the US or something like that. They
Yeah, but there's one guy. So the guy who started the 10th planet in Korea, like the first one.
Yeah.
He I think he trained with Eddie Bravo for like a long time.
Oh,
So
okay.
he speaks good English.
Oh, okay.
And then he became a pastor. So he gave a black belt to another person who's running the gym now.
Wait, he's retired.
No, he still does jiu-jitsu and he competes, but he doesn't
He's not
teach.
teaching. Okay.
Yeah. But the guy who runs it now, he's funny. Yeah.
He's
He's
funny.
like Eddie Bravo actually, the Korean Eddie Bravo.
Korean.
Yeah,
Eddie
people are
Bravo.
just laughingly, showing techniques and stuff.
Gotta find out what the common
Eddie
Korean
Bravo is
conspiracy
funny as
theories
shit,
are.
though, Eddie Bravo is funny.
So would you say that that's usually where you're gonna find, like, if I wanted to do no-gi in Korea, try to find one of these 10 planets?
Yeah, just one of the 10 planets, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. There's like 4 in Seoul, near Seoul.
Okay. Yeah, I was hearing like they were quite good for some reason. But I mean, how are the no-gi competitions, or do they have really no-gi competitions?
Yeah, they have ones with heel hooks. There's Suga, that's one of them, and then there's Jaegers, or like Jaegers,
Jaegers.
Yeah, there's a Jaegers competition, and then there's street jiu-jitsu, and I know street jiu-jitsu did a comp here, right?
Yeah.
So there's street jiu-jitsu in Korea, and I think that's it for the no-gi.
How are the competitions out there? Are they like well run? Are they on time? For
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu,
they're
competitions?
well run. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That was what I was hearing about street jiu-jitsu. Is like, it's like well run, and I went to, I didn't compete in it, but I saw it, and it was quite good here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as they allow heel hooks, I'm in.
You're down for that. Okay.
Yeah, without heel hooks, I can't even like connect my game.
Only heel hooks.
Yeah, well, I can't connect my game because I use it sometimes to set up other things.
Mhm.
All my setups are gone.
That's like exactly
That's the-
playing lapel guard.
But the only reason that Vince competed last year was because he thought that there was going to be heel hooks allowed at the beach.
Oh yeah.
But then he got there, and
No
what
heels.
happened, Vince?
Oh yeah. So they said like, oh, it's brown belt IBJJF rules. Like, okay, cool, I'll sign up for that. And then
That's
like
nice.
2 2 days before they said, "Oh yeah, no heel hooks." Like the fuck. And then I had to
just pull out.
no, disabuse these people of the idea that heel hooks are the only things that are dangerous. Lots of submissions are dangerous. I remember like a million years ago. Everything's a million years ago that I talk about.
So too.
Going to a Naga. For people
Naga.
that remember that, remember those. The Naga guy. This is when I was a white belt. He said, he was sort of defending it for some reason, like the idea that you could, as a white belt in Naga, do heel hooks. And he said, well, in actuality, most of the injuries we have here aren't leg locks. Most of the injuries are like kimuras and people posting off of like defending double legs, which is probably true. And also, this was back in the day when like people said for leg locks, you could probably just spaz out of most leg locks of most people.
No, that's the worst. You spaz and you.
But this was like 2010.
Yeah.
2010, that there were like a few people in the U.S. who could reliably finish you with leg locks, where spazzing was like a very bad idea. But we're talking about like Dean Lister, Ryan Hall, and all those guys. Well, but not even that. It's not so many guys who could reliably do it.
Yeah.
To where when you eventually had like a more systematic way from like Eddie Cummings coming along, where spazzing started to become a very, very bad idea.
Yeah.
Out of leg locks. But I mean, to an extent, it still works now. I depended on sweat to get out of that.
Yeah, in the Saigon room.
Yeah.
At Arcane in the sauna.
Yeah, that one was pure sweat.
I can't even attach to a leg in there.
Oh man, it is hot in there.
And I think he does it on purpose. Like this has got to be miserable for everybody. We're keeping the doors closed.
I kind of like the idea of experiencing that. Because it is a thing in certain competitions or training that
I've never had that in any competition.
But so that's the thing. Like, it could happen in competition, but I've never had it because I don't know. Like, what would the environment be?
ADCC is like an AC building.
But even then, like, okay, you have a 5-minute match, maybe a 10-minute match, then you rest for a while. Then
they're not going to let you go onto a mat. Like, in a competition, are they going to let you go into a mat?
Sweaty as fuck.
No. Yeah, they're going to mop it down, like, a little bit. And you can't come out, like, greasy as hell, unless you're B team.
Yeah, it seems unrealistic.
Maybe it reminds me of college wrestling.
It's a mental exercise more than anything. It's just like, it's hot. He wants to hitting
college
every
wrestling,
round.
you have like wrestling shoes. You're wearing sweat sometimes. You're just.
Yeah, you're wearing sweat. It's that hot. It's that hot. And you're wearing 3 or 4 layers of clothes.
But still, there's many grips. Like I can grip the clothes, like not grip the clothes, but like, there's like friction from the clothes. Yeah.
I feel that it is a way for me to train to get like make my grips a little bit more robust, and it's a challenge to hold that grip in such a sweaty environment. But come to think of it, I've never been in a competition where I've been that. Everything's been
your arms and legs. I would not be able to grip you. Just a little hair.
a little hair I have.
But I don't think he does it at all for that reason. I think it's just mental of like, okay, we're gonna spar for an hour. It's hot.
It's mental toughness.
Yeah,
to build mental toughness.
It's not enjoyable. He doesn't want you resting between rounds.
Yeah, he doesn't. I just go.
And then after an hour.
Oh yeah, you would be like outside.
I'm just outside.
Chilling.
It's 30 degrees outside and humid, but when you open the door and walk out, like you feel like you just walked into a freezer. The contrast between the inside and the outside. Yesterday I was trying to film and like I can't operate my phone. There's just a layer of condensation over the lens.
Sweat. Oh.
Yeah.
But whatever evaporates, that shouldn't be like. It's just water, right? Whatever evaporates. All the salt and stuff is remaining on the mats, right?
Yeah, and it gets in between the little crevices in the mats. That's why you have to give like a quite thorough cleaning to these things.
I think in that room there, every month they take the mats out, scrub them down. And everything.
Yeah, I think at least every month. You gotta lift those up. I think the puzzle mats are worse though. For like
who still does puzzle mats?
Who has them?
Yeah, who still does puzzle mats? I feel like those are the worst.
I mean,
they still
have rip up too. I think. Yeah.
They still have the puzzle mats at Over Under.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Over Under still has them. Shark, they replace theirs. They have
nice mats.
nicer mats.
But
and
at
AC.
Shark, it gets slippery as well. Like same with Arcanus. As soon as there's a little bit of like water on there, it is slippery.
They had that. They had that also at like the old Saigon Jiu-Jitsu, where especially in their old room, where it would get slippery. So this is one of the justifications I've heard for like that mat. They have it say like CD8, where it's
judo
like
mat.
the
I
judo
like this
tatami.
one.
Yeah.
Once your skin has like evolved to deal with it and you've adapted to it, it's quite nice because even if it's a bit sweaty, you still have good grip. But if you take a week or two off training and then come back there, like you need to wear socks or something. It will shred your feet.
You've experienced these sort of like judo type mats, these tatami sort of things.
So yeah,
rough
it's
as
like
hell.
the ones that shred you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you get like these like on your foot, knees, and.
Oh yeah, like top of foot,
Yeah.
all that's getting burned off. Yeah. But yeah, you don't slip as much. So like as far as like,
I'd rather slip than get.
but catastrophic injury, well not catastrophic, but like more serious injuries, you avoid those for the idea that you're burning yourself up and I don't know, catching
Imagine
stabbed.
getting the burn, yeah, and getting stabbed.
Catching
That's
stabbed.
catastrophic for sure. Yeah.
I don't know. Have you gotten
Stabbed?
bugaboos?
Never. Yeah, I've never got.
Never got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily,
I think there's luck to it, and also just like
Asian
Also-
skin. No, I'm kidding.
showering helps.
Oh yeah, showering helps.
But okay, this is the thing. Here's the problem in Korea.
What is
Korea-
this?
Korean most Korean men and most Korean women don't have like BO.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I think some of them are thinking like, well, fuck it, I was rolling with a bunch of Korean dudes. I don't smell. Fuck it. I can not take a shower. Have you run into people like
Everybody
that?
showers.
Everybody showers? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If they don't shower at the gym, they're showering right away.
I see.
Because I think they overshower actually in Korea.
Really?
Yeah, they shower if they get a little dirty. They're like already taking a shower. They always put lotion on.
Lotion?
Yeah. They shower in lotion.
Shower, lotion.
So at the gym, everybody showers and they're putting lotion on.
Wait, do Koreans get ashy? Do you know what I mean?
They just love putting lotion on. Yeah.
They just gotta look smooth at
They
all
just always
times.
put lotion. Actually, I started doing that too. Actually,
Put lotion on.
I just culturally I adapted.
What about
Your skin is just softer. So.
what did these Korean dudes do? The ones who do, there's like some percentage of them that actually do get BO.
Oh, I don't know what they do. They probably just put on lotion.
Like man, that stink fucking.
More lotion. Yeah, I don't know.
Damn. So, you had a friend tell you to come out here.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that friend's been out here before.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Because I just sent you out into the wild.
I had two.
He sent you to
I was
experiment.
yeah, I had two friends tell me that's why.
Have you been elsewhere in Southeast Asia to train? Like Thailand or something like
Not
that?
Thailand. I've been to the Philippines and then also in Indonesia, Bali.
Bali. Bali MMA?
I don't know if it was Bali. It was one of these anime gyms. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it was Bali with me because I think I forget
It
what
was
it
like
was.
in
Changi,
Canggu, yeah.
yeah.
So-
In Changu, yeah.
That was
It's
like
Bali
one
MMA.
of two.
There was two gyms there. I
Yeah.
went to the other one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's
With
another
the
there.
big dude.
Yeah, there's big dudes and there's a
what
bunch of
was-
Russians too.
Yeah.
Mm.
That might have been Bali MMA. But what did you think about the Philippines? I've heard the Philippines has some of the best gi in Southeast Asia because they have this guy was telling me that there were like at least 50 black belts in Manila alone.
How many? 15?
50 black belts in Manila
What?
alone. That's what
Wow.
I've heard.
There's a gi
But it's
tournament.
very gi oriented.
There's a gi tournament coming up, Vince, if you want to go to Manila.
Just here on the right.
That's that
Isn't that-
ASJJF one.
I thought that one was just for Filipino nationals. And
There's more than
Filipino
one. No, there's more than one. There's a bunch of tournaments in the Philippines. One of them is you can only be Filipino,
Okay.
but then there's another one that a lot of guys are going to from Over Limit gi tournament.
Oh
They
yeah,
tried to get, they tried to get me to go,
Have you trained
and
for
then
one?
I've been there maybe twice. I haven't been there a lot. I guess I gotta get back. No, I've been to Over Limit because they sometimes have Over Limit at the City Garden.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I've been there for that one, and I've also been to like the Kotani's spot, his main spot.
Yeah. In the top floor. Once you walk out. Yeah, I went there. When I first got here, I was
just trying to figure it out.
I just went to go to gyms, and I went there.
This is one of the things I really liked. The reason I was asking you is sort of talking about the scene of Southeast Asia, and one of the things that led me to end up in Saigon was that I liked the Jiu-Jitsu scene here more than other cities in Southeast Asia. I just get the feeling like it's much more acceptable and much more done thing where you just go to all these different gyms all the time. I didn't get that impression, say, like in Bangkok or something like that you would go to all of these different gyms, and that was cool.
Yeah, here there's a lot of open mats, and people are everyone seems comfortable.
I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but over in other cities, it seems like more of that happens, and there's more options. Like, say, I'm like, man, I was busy as hell. Like in the morning, I normally go to Shark. Okay, screw it, I'll go to Over Under. Oh, I'm gonna do a gi tournament. Okay, I'm gonna go to Gistio.
It's chill,
Yeah.
I like that shit.
Yeah. And outside of like a few people, there's not like political issues.
I like that shit. That's all it should be.
Yeah, people are just happy to train.
Yeah.
Happy to have visitors. It's quite nice because you get to expand your training partner base. You get to train with so many more bodies.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different styles here. You even have Raymond, the Dagestani wrestler, grappler, from Takori. A lot of leg lockers.
I feel bad when all the gyms are open. So
I went to Shark for the open mat, and Raphael is there. And then over under the mat is a bit thinner, so he's not like wrestling as firmly. But at Shark, they have the new mat. It's nice and soft. It's nice and cushy. Big mistake, dude. Just because the mat's softer, I had a miserable day, and it was quite sweaty, quite hot in there.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, I'm like, I tied up with Raphael. I have no traction.
But because there's that end of the mat where like you guys were at was particularly sweaty.
Yes. Yeah. I have no traction. It's super slippery. Somehow his base has seemed to improve. Like all the disadvantages are going my way, and he seems just completely unbothered by any of it.
What's it like a private with Raymond?
Do you enjoy that?
In the end, here's the thing, when it's like Tuesday morning and I do my private, I'm like, man, I don't want to do this shit. What am I doing?
But when it's over, the day can only get better from here.
Yeah, it's very much like was that Lethal Weapon? I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
But you just do one private with Raymond per week?
I'm now just doing one private with him, and I didn't do a private with Ben Yuen for judo, and it ended up being a case for a while where like I was doing just tons of kouchi with my right foot. So my right foot hurts a lot because I'm basically just trying to foot sweep with my right foot like all the time for both of those classes. Different setups, but often with that. Pretty effective technique. I don't know.
What do you think about foot sweeps, Zach? Are they effective?
Yeah.
Well, this is an inside
this?
joke because Adam, after 8 months of trying to take me down, finally got a foot sweep on me.
A foot sweep.
Yeah,
He
I'm
did
really
get
not
a
that talented on the feet, but like when it comes to I just try it on everyone, like spam these attacks, but it really only works on Zach.
It worked one time. It worked one time out of literally 700 times.
Do you remember the setup you used?
On him, any setup works.
Any setup.
If you can make contact without Zach running across the mat.
Okay.
Zach has a running away style,
we're this is like a project to fix that.
That's why I told you to body lock. Get closer.
Get closer, take your lumps. Yeah. Do you do like the one that every jiu-jitsu guy wants to hit is that like slide by the Daigashi foot sweep? Do you do that foot sweep off of the slide by? Like
Where's that?
so that's the one where like you're like collar
Oh, I know what you do.
and then you go like wham and then you hit that foot sweep as they're going, yeah?
Actually, I never tried that, but I've seen it before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good. I think that's a good save actually.
Yeah, and if you hit it, then you're
It's
just
safe,
done.
yeah.
You're done with your round. You're like, yeah, I got you with that. That's equal.
That's pretty much what happened. I don't know. Should we watch the footage? Zach is talking about points. Meanwhile, I'm walking off the mat. He's just lying back. So
Yeah, I think everybody, at least the first time they hit that, they're just like, I'm done. I don't care.
he's talking about you didn't secure position. It's like, dude, you're lying in a puddle. I'm gonna go take a shower and enjoy my weekend.
He actually, I had to talk him into keep continuing his grappling career because he said, I'm done with grappling now.
You're like,
I don't.
and got to take down.
On- He literally practiced 3 times a day until he took me down, and I have not seen him.
Yeah, he won't train anymore. He just switched to Muay Thai.
This is not this is not a joke. Like literally, we were over under one night, and then man, yeah, I could tell he's been going to Raymond's class because he was so aggressive. He was just exploding, and you got to take down, okay. And then I'm like, and then he goes and sits on the wall. I'm like, and then I'll look at the clock, and it's like 2 minutes 43 seconds. I said, oh, let's go, man. It's 2 minutes left. He said, no, I'm here celebrating. I said, no, let's go right now. Let's go. And then that is the last time I saw him on a mat.
He hasn't sat back.
Really?
With no
That is so
explanation. With no explanation.
That was his main goal. Was to just take him down.
Get that takedown on Zach, and then
And
it's like, yeah.
Change. A lot of people have that
I've
goal.
mastered
Like-
grappling.
Why do they love that
Yes.
goal? Everybody just wants to take you down and they're done.
I don't know.
I mean, I like the idea of making like a goal for grappling, but
I mean, I think that's like maybe.
you gotta make a new one.
Yeah, you got.
No one's enough.
Yeah.
But whatever.
For a while, my goal was to hit like a no-gi omoplata on everybody and finish them with it. That was like my main goal.
That's
But
hard.
yeah, I got it on almost everybody, but yeah, some people it's just like, okay, this is gonna take years. I gotta switch to something else.
You do have a pretty mean omoplata.
Yeah, almost blew my knee out trying to hit on you.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's like one of these moves where I think people have discounted it. Like, yeah, we were talking about the whole idea of like the over/under, and I think just people discount these moves when they haven't really been.
I like it as a setup. I don't
Yeah.
like it as a full submission.
With the, so you're talking about the omoplata. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a good setup too,
I just
but
don't see it working at like if I watch competitions. Like let's say like the ADCC or like the World Nogi Championships.
Mhm.
If you look at all the submissions that happen at black belt level, there's not one omoplata.
Yeah.
that said,
So I'm not gonna like try to work on a finishing omoplata thing. I'm gonna work it as a setup, but not like as a like.
that again brings you back to the whole idea of like leg locks as a move, and then sort of the feeling in the room in 2010 where there were like a couple of guys who were good at it. Mostly it's cheap. Brazilian guys are just going to let you break their feet anyway, so screw it. And you know, to this day, they'll just let you break their knees from leg locks. So they weren't really considered like a good move. And then all it took was basically one guy to really dive into it and systematize it. And now it's the biggest thing in the world.
Wait, who's the one guy?
I mean, basically, I'm going to claim Eddie Cummings. Who was basically like the guy who made leg locks a thing, it's systematic, spazzing out is a bad idea, and where, you know, somebody's considered so many of the reactions and things like that. You know, he's got a special mind.
You know, whatever happens with Eddie Cummings.
Well, he's now doing like a physics PhD.
Really?
But I believe that's the case. Like he's like, you know, doing, from what I heard, he's doing like, I don't know, couple of days a week of jiu-jitsu and Unity or something like that, but that's about it. But you know, that's a special mind. But if somebody else really digs into it, I think you could see a lot more success at even something like omoplatas, where it seems like, okay, this is the thing you do for no-gi. I'm not suggesting that this is like, this should be, that you should tell beginners, this should be your bread and butter, trying to actually like finish people with an omoplata and no-gi. But I think a lot of progress could be made there for somebody who feels like going into it.
Yeah.
I mean, for someone like, Vince, you've been doing jiu-jitsu for 15 years.
Yeah.
You know, him and I have been doing jiu-jitsu for like 4 or 5 years. You know, it seems like, you know, for us, we would focus more on like chokes, rear nakeds, and stuff like that. To me, doing an omoplata, I have never done an omoplata. I don't even know what.
Training for 5-6 years.
I still don't know what an omoplata is.
Can you elaborate a little? Like, when you're talking about someone who's just like
The way he pronounced it is the right way to pronounce it, given what he said about his knowledge of it. Like, yeah, an omoplata. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I really don't know a lot of moves.
Zach just wants to pull off the Oompa Loompa. So someone who's just getting into grappling, like Zach, you know, 5 or 6 years into his journey, but so like
that's a long
truly
time.
beginner level.
Actually 3.5 going on 4.
Okay, but like truly, like really one strike white belt when it comes to capability and tournament performance.
I would argue 2 strike.
Alright, so we're I would argue strike. I would argue no strike.
You know what? I think if Zach went into white belt competition, I think they would smoke those guys.
You think so?
Maybe.
It's not.
Like
Maybe.
if he went in a lower weight class and he didn't have.
I would say blue belt. Yeah, like.
Maybe
I would say blue.
guys.
No, like I'm not saying he'll like get like a bunch of submissions because maybe you don't really get choked and maybe a guillotine, right? But like I think he can beat all those guys by points.
I think he could beat all those guys by dancing around on his feet for like 4.5 minutes, waiting for.
I gotta do what I gotta do, man. The only thing I know how to do is run away.
Golden score.
We got it on camera in the tournament. We got it on camera with Woong today. So
I thought there'd be more action.
well, I thought so too. I'm sitting there filming. I'm like, should I go film the wall? I want to see something on 2 guys playing patty cake. But Vince, I want to ask you.
Yeah.
So somebody who's like, if you're just getting into jiu-jitsu, what is your process? Like, what do you think people should be focusing on if they're going to look at like a certain aspect of the game or just like a certain submission?
I tell people when they would first come to jiu-jitsu, like if they had no experience, the way I would explain jiu-jitsu is that it's all about the rear naked choke, and everything else is just some stuff that happened on your way there. Maybe you caught something, but if you think of the sport of jiu-jitsu as just going for no-gi jiu-jitsu in particular, going for a rear naked choke, then that would sort of explain why we do everything. So, okay, well, why are we even on the ground? Well, doing a rear naked choke standing up, there's a little bit too much movement. It reduces Uke's athleticism, putting him on the ground. You know, he can't get up to his knees and start like tossing you off or backsplashing or something like that. So that's one reason why we want it on the ground. Why are we passing guard? Well, you can't rear naked choke him through like a closed guard, right? You know, why do we give more points for back mount? The whole idea of like the progression and the way things are scored, it just makes much more sense if you think about it like get rear naked choke. And also, if all you do in jiu-jitsu, if theoretically all you did, which is get rear naked chokes, nobody would call you like a one-trick pony. You would just be seen as like very dominant.
Because you still have to get the fight to the ground. You still have to pass the guard.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But like if all you did was like a wrist lock, people would just be like, okay, you're one trick pony or something. Yeah, because you didn't have to really work too hard to get there. But by getting to the rear naked choke, and finishing it, you've shown a good deal of dominance on whoever you're going against. It seems much less fluky than like me dog barring people. What about those people? You know, I'm sure some of them are fine people.
You can only go to ADCC and do the pro division.
But I think you know, heel hooks are a great way to get to the back. I mean, like you see that whole meta of like the idea that like I'm going for your legs, you start going for my legs. we ended up a lot of times in sort of berimbolo situations going for each other's legs, right? And so, okay, well, so the leg entanglement that I'm using to get to your legs, or ostensibly was going for your legs, ends up where a leg entanglement where I'm trying to get like a twister hook or something like that, or some other sort of berimbolo edge or something. And now we're ending up in a fight for the back. Now we're going to end up back into a rear naked sort of situation. So it's
There is a connection.
yeah, and even like I'd see sometimes the way you would pass, you would sometimes just like say you go to the side, the guy would have like his leg right here, you just grab the heel. Okay, fine, that works at a certain level, but if you go against other people, you go for that heel, it's not going to work. So you go for that heel, but that is you're using that to sort of scare the guy. So now you can mix that in with your pass, and when people pass, especially given a point situation, they want to avoid giving up those points. They turtle up, boom, 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 boom. You catch their back, you catch the rear naked choke.
So to summarize, like we should start a beginner's class and just toss them in heel hooks right away.
I think
focus
so.
on that, and then the rest of the game will evolve from there. We can move to the rear naked choke.
That's what Tanner says.
Yeah.
What he does, like in one of his instructionals, he says the reason that he's so focused on having his students learn break locks is because that's the initial attack that you should always go for. And then after the initial attack is then when you can go for other attacks.
So should we have this in the beginner's class or also in the kids class?
I think you should go from day one.
Day one. Okay. Across the board.
6-year-olds.
6-year-old.
Yeah. You heard it from Vince.
Well, if the 6-year-old hurts his knee, he'll get better in like 3 days.
Yeah, they're bendy.
Yeah,
They
they're
recover
bendy,
quickly.
Yeah, it's a
For Zach,
well, it's high stakes.
Wouldn't
We're
it
getting a walker for you, man.
That's all right. Yeah, that's all right. But wouldn't it be cool to do like rounds at practice only heel hooks,
I mean, that's
only leg lock, like
well,
only leg locks?
we do those sometimes. Like we'll start from leg entanglements and
Go back and forth between
Yeah.
straight ankle lock.
But I like the idea of mixing it because I like you sometimes using it as a setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
But looking at how you were approaching it, it seemed like you were intentionally like, okay, fine, if the guy just lets me heel hook and I'll take it, but okay, fine, you got out of that. Now it's easy to toreando, get north south, do what I'm gonna do, right? That seemed, and I've seen that style. I mean, Felipe does that style too, where he's gonna go for the legs. They'll seem like loose, but that's because he might not necessarily be going for the leg. But if you get sloppy with it and ignore it, then he'll go for it and take it. Yeah. So yeah, rear naked choke. That's all. If you just, I think at
It's just
a certain point, you just we feed that in a Chat GPT 6. And you just say like, I want to get to a rear naked choke, and it'll spit out a whole game plan of jiu-jitsu for you, just based on that one goal.
it'll spit out a whole instruction on using mathematics.
Very slow pace, speaking style. Make sure you get it all.
Yeah. So, Vince, are you going to compete this year?
I've competed this year already.
You have it.
Are you going to?
Or am I going to compete again? Yeah, am I going to compete again?
I heard you won the purple belt bracket.
No, I'll go to like a more challenging bracket to duck certain people.
Oh, what round are you?
Brown.
Oh, nice.
So
Legit, bro.
the last time I competed like IBJJF was 2017. I went to this Asian Open in Tokyo, and I saw in my own weight category that I could have gone to, I saw there were all these Mongolian names. I was like, nah.
You're not top to anything. The only thing you're top to is like a rear naked choke.
Yeah. I remember being there. There was some other dude there in my weight category, and I was talking to him, or in the weight category I would have been in. And I said like, and we're in the bullpen, and I'm talking to him, and he's like, yeah, I'm doing this weight category. I'm like, yeah, I was thinking about that, but I saw these Mongolians, like, and those guys, it'll often be like judo champs and stuff like that, and then come in as a blue belt, right? And he's like, don't worry about it, man. I've got experience. I've done judo. That dude, like he got rock bottom arm bars. And just you just see the look on the coach's face. It was just spite. A look on their coach's face said, "No, I'm not doing that one."
Yeah, Mongolians are crazy.
Because you remember that match Musumeci had with that guy? Like he was
That
twisting his knee every freaking way. Wait, which one?
The guy that had the match with Musumeci.
The Mongolian guy in Korea.
Yeah. He wrestled one of our guys, and then so he couldn't take down one of our guys,
Mm-hmm.
and so I don't know. It was kind of weird. He like waited until my friend got tired,
Mm-hmm.
and then he said, "Let's go again." And then after the Mongolian guy just smoked my friend. He was so tired, my friend.
I see.
Yeah, so it was kind of petty, I would say.
What was so basically his style was to get on top, wrestle, get on top.
Yeah, he's a good wrestler.
Okay.
He's a good wrestler.
Yeah. When his leg works.
Yeah, like I don't know about his leg locks.
When all parts of the leg are intact.
Yeah.
Oh, that was rough to watch.
I wonder why he didn't tap. Crazy Genghis Khan dominant mentality.
There's some crazy dudes out there. I mean, again, like that's the whole advantage of the rear naked choke.
It is back in time here though. Like I was saying, remember, like when we were on the moped or on the border bike, it's like Korea back in the day.
Yeah.
When you try to throw the trash on the side.
Bro, yesterday we leave arcade.
Yeah.
And he has like a bag. I don't know what he brought. His lunch box is just a plastic bag.
I said, "Where's the trash?" He's like, "Everywhere's the trash."
I was like, look around, man. Like, it's not exactly the most clean place. I was joking. So we like, turn around, we're driving on the road, and there's one of those large styrofoam like cooler bins that they use as a trash can. I'm like, oh, you can just throw it in there. Womp. Just sends it. It's like a plastic bag. What'd you have in there? Glass bottles.
Yeah.
Wait, did it land in a styrofoam?
No, he didn't throw it in the styrofoam. He threw it on the sidewalk, like in front of a shop.
I was like, "Oh shit! Everywhere's the trash." Boom! I sent it.
I see that. I see Vietnamese people doing that.
But it was glass bottles, so it made like this noise. Like
that's a bit much. Like usually, it's like
I stopped the bike. I made him get off and deal with it like a good Samaritan.
We're gonna let that one go.
I've heard that from quite a few Koreans, like saying that the sort of like the opportunity feels like Korea, like I don't know, 30 years ago or
it
something
feels
like
like
that.
Korea back in the day. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, things are just developing. That's why.
Yeah. So it'll
Korea
be
used to be dirt cheap too.
it'll be exciting to see what it ends up